March 26th, Loren Cunningham. Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men. Loren could be a wealthy man if he wanted to be. He's an accomplished author and a world-renowned speaker. But he donates his book royalties to Youth with a Mission, also known as YWAM, which he founded. And he doesn't charge a speaking fee or ask for an honorarium. Loren grew up in a family with limited financial resources. Yet, his parents gave 30% of their income to foreign missions. That example set the stage for Loren's own generosity and for the financial policy of YWAM. Missionaries with YWAM do not receive salaries. They trust God to provide for their needs. On this date in 1972, Loren, his wife, and their 2 children introduced a plan for a floating mobile school of evangelism. But that wasn't the first school that Loren founded. Now, YWAM is more than 60 years old and has more than 18,000 workers. The parish is global. Here's today's story.
Do you want a farm? Buy a milk can. For Loren Cunningham, those words from God seemed out of context. Having grown up in the busy city of Los Angeles, farms and livestock were not familiar to him. He'd never even thought about it. Having a farm was so far out of his area of expertise, he started to wonder if he had really heard from God clearly. But God had told him he wanted to give him a farm. He had heard God speak to him directly many times before, and it had always turned out into something incredible. But he had already asked God where his first ministry school should be stationed, so if God wanted to give him a farm in Switzerland, well, he would welcome it. Everything he felt called to do in this mountainous countryside was falling into place. This new word from God was obviously another aspect of this ministry that they needed. So he sat in a quiet place and asked God for more confirmation. Loren was directed to a specific book of the Bible, a chapter, and a very specific verse. Flipping to James chapter 2, verse 26, he found it. Faith without works is dead. This was going to require action, he thought. The next day, Loren went to see a farm that was being auctioned, and he bought some barbed wire, a milk can, and a hay wagon. He saw these items and knew that he needed to buy them. He was walking in obedience to God, and God was going to give him a farm. After Loren bought the items, his students from the ministry school wondered what he was up to. They asked him, "Why did you buy a hay wagon?" And he simply told them, "It's because God is going to give YWAM a farm." Curious about this, one of his students, Jojo, asked him what that looked like for them, since they were all part of YWAM. He told her to go and seek God and see what he says. Being obedient, she took the week and she prayed about what God was saying about the farm. And by the end of the week, her confidence was soaring. She knew the school was going to get a farm. She told her parents her thoughts and what Loren had done as an act of faith by buying farm items. And now she too was convinced this was going to happen. A few weeks later, Jojo's father was chatting with a Swiss local when the man said these words, "I have this farm and God told me to give it to a mission. Do you know a mission that needs a farm?" Awestruck by these words that had just come out of the man's mouth, he exclaimed, "YWAM! YWAM! They bought a hay wagon in faith." This wasn't just any farm. It was a place where thousands would be filled with the knowledge of the Bible, living in the presence of Jesus, and given the tools to go into every nation and spread the love of Jesus. This farm was the first of many bases in YWAM that would disciple young people and send them to the poorest of the poor and to the ends of the earth. It became a significant sending center for the global ministry, and it all began with the words, "I want to give you a farm." So then, faith comes by hearing, and hearing from the word of the Lord. Romans 10:17. Is God asking you to step out in faith? Are you listening? It begins with simple steps of obedience. Do you want a farm? Buy a milk can.
Thank you for listening to today's story. Every day of the year, our hope is to inspire you with real-life stories of faithful men who have gone before us. For today's story, we have a free one-page group discussion sheet available on our website. Please join us tomorrow for another story at 365christianmen.com.